Welcome to this Flight Simulator update movie. The Eagle has landed. Sim update number 6 is available since roughly 20 minutes, maybe a little bit more. Release notes compared to the beta release notes have changed a bit. The first thing which is obvious is the notes on the flightsimulator.com website, where they state that they celebrate the launch of Windows 11 by lighting up some of the world's famous point of interest in Windows 11 colors. And there's an additional livery available for the extra 330 LT. So that will require some more investigation where they updated the point of interest. Unfortunately, the update is not available, at least in my store, so probably they're still rolling it out. Besides that, they have not changed too much based on the comparing the release notes between each other. The stability is, I'd say, kind of the same as far as I could see, as well as the navigation. They also made several updates to that. So stability is probably the most important for all of us, right? Because we want to have a stable flight simulator, and we of course also want to have a good performance. In this case, they made optimization work has been performed, including performance updates with real-time air traffic after a long period of time. And they also fixed the installation logic of outdated and missing packages. The navigation piece, they updated the air AC cycle to 2110, but compared to the Navi data solution, I think it still is missing some point of interest. So I'm wondering if that has been finally resolved in this release. For example, some of the beacons in the Netherlands at least disappeared, and after installing the Navigraph version, they appeared again. Then they've added also the HC, announcing a DME IRC approach with 10 times the radius, and they fixed the separated different airways with the same name in the nav data. Looking at the weather piece, they made sure that you can activate gust tweaking in the custom weather settings, and they made changes to the ambient pressure. Is now smoothly calculated. That was a little bit bumpy as far as I understood. It's now correct, and it improved the ATIS cloud layer reporting, which, if you are aware, the ATIS is the information service on every airport, which will provide you which runway is active, what the weather is, where you can expect clouds, etc. Then we've got the VR fixes, several fixes there, lightning issues, wrong camera initial rotation, etc. Also general stability in VR mode. In the activity, they changed a lot of things. For example, the VFR map where icons disappeared, also fixed ICAOs on main path disappearing from the VFR map after resizing. I did hit that issue. And there's a fix which caused the female voice to be heard instead of the male voice in a dead stick landing tutorial. Didn't have that issue, but to be honest, I also didn't try the dead stick landing tutorial. Then there were some issues reported by people showing friends which were offline, or which were shown online, which were already offline. I've seen that issue happening indeed. And there was an issue specifically to the Balkan bush trip, which couldn't be completed due to a missing airport. Then if we're looking at the planes, there are a lot of fixes there in both the general section, but also in the airplane specific section. I won't go to all of them because it's too much to go to, as you can see. They improved a lot, they fixed a lot, they added a lot, so that's cool. In addition to that, they have updated the 747-8 and the Boeing 787-10 Dreamliner, where they fixed the ILS frequency, the flaps, they fixed the Boeing flaps behavior at handle 9, and they fixed the bug with the Boeing joke by the Thrustmaster failing to toggle hold AP modes. And that's only applicable to the Thrustmaster, as I can see here. It's probably only looking at the Boeing joke by Thrustmaster. Then they fixed the icing arch and rain on both interior and exterior. Then they've got some specific fixes for both the Boeing 787 and a separate one for 747, which is related to crashes which are happening, potential improvement of the FBB or FBW, I should say, and a minor display fix on the FMC approach. And the incorrect flap positions for the 787, and for the 747 they fixed the external hot airspeed tapes. Now has been speed ranges similar to cockpit tapes. Interesting. And one of the other jets, the Airbus A320neo, they also fixed some issues there, but to be honest, I probably will continue to use the Airbus A321X because that's my favorite. For the other aircraft, they're all kind of minor fixes, like for example, low fuel being reported. In the Cessna 152, they also fixed some issues with the flaps and with the lights, which were not correct. Continuing with the other aircrafts, the Cessna Citation Longitude and the Zlin Savage Cup. Glide scope issues, fixed display issues and reverse thrust. Missing tooltips. And update cabin pressure warnings in aircraft configuration with wheel values in case of the Cessna Citation Longitude and the Zlin Savage Cup. Master knobs which were not working, flight plan no longer missing from the VFR map and the VFR transponder key. The Cupcraft rigs, some minor improvements for the checklist, and a fixed wheel, tail wheel steering. Icon A5 now has access to the new ERA interface. Wonder what that is, but let's find out. Flight Design CTLS, they fixed several things, including the hot tachometer and the VFR transponder code and the GMB VL3 steering animation issues. The Cessna 208B Grand Caravan, a lot of fixes there also for the turboprop conditioner, reduced rudder stability, the checklist has been modified, and this, I would say, a small number of those fixes have also been applied to the Beechcraft, where there also was a fix prop drag idling and just adjusted flap drag, and the checklist was again modified. For the Zlin Shock Ultra, engine temperatures and pressures were fixed and adjusted the gear advisory alarm. The Beechcraft, well, they fixed the camera, that's also good. And the Diamond DA62 updated animation issues in the cockpit and some rain issues which were being fixed. Continuing with the Cirrus SR22, fixed the airframe. And for the virus, Pipistrel virus SW121, they fixed the QNH setting bug. Then Skyhawk 172, probably also a very popular airplane. They fixed the glass cockpit, arm standby battery and custom departure, and they reduced the rudder lift coefficient from 2.0 to 1.0. Will reduce rudder twitchiness and increase adverse yaw. The Daewoo TBM 930, again, multiple issues fixed, including the procedures which were not correct by auto start and auto stop, which means the control E keys, and they tuned the flight idle state torque, RPM and ITT, and they fixed the overspeed. The 330LT improved aerobatic behavior and fixed the idle RPM, causing an engine stall at some altitudes, temperatures, and of course for this one there's a special livery available. That's a long list, right? For aircraft fixes. Now continue with the avionics. And the avionics, there are multiple fixes for multiple systems, including the G1000, AS3X, GNS 430 and GNS 530, where they had multiple fixes, not only related to lightning of the displays, but also some fixes where it was not catching the localizer in ILS. The nearest waypoint was not correctly working, the functionality and incorrect values for bearing and distance were shown in case of the G3X. Other than that, there are some small fixes in that, but that might be really specific to you if you have been affected by those issues. The VFR map, that probably is, I would say, something which they hopefully did some fixes because it was really slow. It was not always correctly shown when resizing. So they made multiple changes to that. So let's see if that has improved. It looks like, because it says prevent some case of VFR map waypoint loading stalling. In the world map, they changed a lot of things, either polishing the airports, adding missing things if they were not added, fixed jetways, taxi ribbons. Sorry for that. And the UI, they fixed several UI interfaces, which also is the low resolution in manual cache mode, cursors which were not working correctly, all profiles were blank, and when using a custom profile for the Hot S1, all nice things. And this one was also an irritating one. The unable to select the last ICAO searched in search results. That didn't work. It always reset back to the default value. Then some specific peripherals fixes, both for the Thrustmaster and Turtle Beach, multiple joysticks. So keep an eye if you're using one of those joysticks. Probably if you had an issue, it should now be fixed, as long as of course it's in the list. That are all the fixes in Flight Simulator 2020, but there's also an SDK available. I will not go to all of the items, but it looks like that Asobo did a lot of work improving the JavaScript API, including the aircraft API, the dev mode functionality, the project editor, the scenery editor, the sample, the material editor, the simvars, and the console. Well, I think almost every component did receive an update. So it's really interesting to see what they fixed, and it's also cool to see that they added some special things due to the Windows 11 release. There's nothing being called out that Windows 11 is officially supported for Flight Simulator. I just checked the Microsoft Store and I still don't see the update. That worries me because I just updated to Windows 11. So hopefully I will get the update, I would say, in the next hour. And also I probably will need to troubleshoot. If I will need to troubleshoot, I of course will record the solution if I will find a solution. Here ends this video. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, then consider to use the like button. If you got questions or comments, then feel free to post them in the comment box below. And if you want to stay up to date about new videos I'm posting, then consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks for watching and see you next time.